and welcome to Champion Reviews. I'm Joe. Here with me is my co-hosts Dan and Jet.
Hello and greetings.
We just finished watching the alien suit or costume or whatever of the animated series. Wow, what an improvement over the comic book.
Oh, yeah.
Version of the story. Now, the alien suit originally showed up in Secret Wars. No offense, but mediocre story from Marvel that was made in response to the Crisis on Infinite Earths, but without the grandness, without the greatness, without the intelligence, the passion. It just became a X-Men focused Captain America wankfest. And like all no offense, but like all Captain America wankfests, it was kind of boring.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you like Captain America. I never did because of that comment. It actually convinced me, Cap's boring. Don't read him. He sucks. Because they spent the entire time just not using Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man was right there. Marvel's greatest character. Why not use him? But Spider-Man doesn't do anything in the entire story.
Yeah.
The X-Men were also were better written there. It was almost more a Magneto story.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do a Magneto story, focus on Magneto.
Agreed.
Because he's such a good character. Now, that said, this episode starts off with the hero, with John Jameson, who's an astronaut, pulling free the Prometheus X rock from the moon. Underneath it is, Venom symbiote. She latches onto him because, yes, the symbiote is a she. Funny how it's like you're at the craziest of X's are girls typically.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Venom did have the crazy eyes.
Yeah, something like that. She ends up latching onto him, causing sorry, I'm just waiting for the puppy to settle down a little. She causes them to crash on the George Washington Bridge. Smythe predicts it, but keeps saying, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so! To Kingpin, who's a little nervous, but calls in Rhino. Rhino and Spider-Man fight in the shuttle, and Rhino takes off with the Prometheus X. Eddie Brock decides to leave those photos out when he pretty much convinces Jonah to frame Spider-Man, seeing an opportunity to get even. Because that's Brock. He keeps a mental list of everyone who's ever screwed him. And it's like, the dude is nuts!
And then when he gets together with the symbiote, he becomes one of Spider-Man's greatest yandere followers.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy who'd follow you on Twitter just to screw you over. And it's like, if you're going to follow someone on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, why would you do it out of hatred? But anyways, enough of my judgmentalness towards half of the people on social media. I'm just saying.
Generous amount.
Yeah. Now, as to Venom symbiote, it latches onto Peter quickly enough, who gets possessed by it. The dream phase in here is not like the Batman dream phase of the Two-Face episode. It's actually good. Because that dream phase in Batman was just kind of cringe. I always have to skip it. It's so cringe. Oh boy, is it embarrassing to watch. And it's so Adam Westy, I'm left going, I thought this was supposed to be post-Crisis era, not like Adam West. He should have had his Dream Shark Two-Face repellent.
Yeah.
But here the dream face is of a giant monster Spider-Man versus a Venom monster in an empty version of Manhattan fighting over Peter, who's in his pajamas. Okay, his sleeping pajamas, not his 1962 pajamas. And the thing that's interesting here is you essentially have Peter's, I guess you could say, unconscious mind, his idea, I think it is, fighting with the symbiote, trying to repel it, and failing. It's killed, and Peter gets devoured by the Venom symbiote. This is a very interesting euphemism for getting possessed here by the Venom symbiote. And I really, really, really love this dream phase. It is my favorite dream phase. It did the Inception thing before Inception, except better because Inception is garbage.
Yeah, because it was probably the spider sense trying to protect Peter from the symbiote.
Like I said, it's his unconscious mind as well.
Yeah, or after getting absorbed. Hence why, in the future,
his symbiote doesn't activate with Venom.
It's like the spider sense, it means nothing against Venom, and I think later Carnage.
I think it does. His spider sense does work with Carnage, but it's Ben Reilly who should have been kept alive just so he could have a confrontation with Carnage later. Because his spider sense does not activate with Carnage because he got possessed by Carnage, which is terrifying because Carnage is the terrifying symbiote.
Much more dangerous than Venom.
Yeah, much more.
Venom's a lot more rational, and that's not saying much.
Yeah, considering yeah, these symbiotes are nuts by nature. But you have, in turn, the Peter who then goes on a crime-fighting spree, trying to dodge the police, defending himself, justifying it. He bullies Flash and Felicia, and really comes off as a creep with Felicia. He snaps at Aunt May when she tries to nag him, like she frequently does.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm not trying to shout all over Aunt May, but there it was like, okay, come on. He gets enough of this at work. He doesn't need to get this, at home. But that said, Peter overreacts. And Peter's anger is getting so out of control that at the end of the episode, he tries to murder Rhino. Until Rhino ends up begging for mercy and going, no, please don't. And so, I love how they have the... here's the thing about Spider-Man and why Venom is one of his greatest villains. Eddie Brock always justified everything as might makes right. Spider-Man's all about the power of responsibility. And you have Peter who pretty much says to Rhino, in a subversion to his usual rule, his usual creed, his motto, and I'm not referring to Hakuna Matata. You have Peter who ends up telling him, more like, what was it? I have the power. And then he thinks, wait, this isn't what I want. And he remembers one little phrase, that with great power, there must always come great responsibility. And at that memory of what his Uncle Ben always told him versus the temptations of the symbiote, he flees. He retreats and leaves Rhino there. Because he realizes he can't fight no more there in the state of mind that he's in. He will kill someone.
It's like he realizes something's wrong.
And I also love the scene where he looks into that window and sees what the Venom symbiote really looks like. What it made me think was this. Like him with the mouthless mask and everything? That's what Peter thinks he looks like. What does he really probably look like? What do you think of that's what I got the impression the creators were doing. So that when he looks into his reflection, he sees what he really looks like. He looks like Venom. He looks like that snake-tongued monster. He doesn't really look like the actual black costume Spider-Man look. What do you think of that theory?
It's plausible, and it'd be very creepy to see that.
Yeah. Now, I know the creators were trying to hint at what's to come here, but I can't help but also wonder about this, because there's a psychological element in these episodes. Now, the comics did do a good job of that to an extent as well. They did. But the episode does an even better job, and does it in a shorter frame of time. And the Venom story is one of the best stories of the entire series. And in the cartoon, the Venom symbiote, you can already see her twisting and perverting Peter in what is one of the most terrifying set of episodes. You'd never see this written today, because this is written as a thriller, as a fall from grace of sorts, but a thriller a hero battling with his own temptations.
Mhm.
Because today, this kind of writing is beyond most cartoon writers and anime writers. But here's another thing. No, actually, anime writers would just stretch it out for 5,000 episodes. And when it's like, just keep it to 3 episodes. Yeah, I have a problem with some anime writers.
Oh yeah, sometimes.
Like, why stretch it out? I don't get that. They're just talentless hacks who have to stretch everything for a buck. Here, they're not trying to stretch everything out for as much of a buck as possible. And this episode is quick, but also lethal with just the implications psychologically of how far Peter is falling. Like when he does think about, could this have come from the shuttle? He immediately forgets. And there are so many seeds being planted, so many ideas here. They're being dealt with. And I love how you have Flash staring at Peter a little scared when Peter just smirks at him cruelly when Flash goes to walk away at one point from him. Like, you have, like, Felicia when she tells him, you know what, Parker? Right now, you scare me. You could... No writer today would want to do that to their main character. But these writers did. And they're clearly fans, true fans. Because a true fan of something is not scared of showing the dark side of the story.
Yeah.
Or the hero failing. That's what a real writer and fan does. I think Stan Lee, in one of the behind-the-scenes features to the DVD, some of the DVDs mentioned, he loved these episodes. He watched these episodes. He loved them. Who can blame him?
Mm-hmm.
They're some of the greatest animated series episodes for any series of all times.
How? I think Stan Lee have commented that the entirety of the 90s animated cartoons,
He loved.
He watched them all and he loved. Even with Iron Man and Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah, I know he liked Iron Man, because I think in one interview or something he went, like, he was really into that. Iron Man, I don't think he cared about Fantastic Four, but nobody cared about that. Trash.
Mm-hmm.
I know he liked the Fantastic Four and the Secret Wars episodes, but I know his ranking was, I think, the same one as the fans. Spider-Man, X-Men, then Iron Man. Which, those are the only 3 Marvel TV series that matter.
Mm-hmm.
The rest don't. I also know he watched the DC ones, because he appeared in some of their DVD behind-the-scenes stuff with Bob Kane, I think.
Didn't he absolutely love Superman?
I think so. But the thing with Stan and a lot of the people over at DC was, as you once told me, they often just went out golfing with each other. Like, the rivalry was kind of more like rival sports teams, but the owners and some of the creators didn't take it as seriously as say, no offense, but Chris Claremont took it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Chris Claremont takes it way too seriously. Some like back in the day, some like Louis Simonson, for example, did not take it too seriously and were really chill about it.
Mm-hmm. They thought as, we're competing businesses, but we have to, there's some competition with there, but it helps us improve ourselves to, in order to be able to...
Yeah. And that's where, like, I know there's a lot of comic book companies rising up right now, and the biggest one of Comicsgate is All Caps, but I kind of hope there's a rival company that rises to challenge it so that, like, they have to improve each other. Mm-hmm. Although, that's Jet kind of disagreeing with me, and I have to disagree with him, but what are you going to do? But anyways, we're getting too much off topic. I remember having, like, the VHS of the Venom episodes that our dad got us was the first one that I ever got, and they are the first episodes I ever saw of Spider-Man, and I loved them. As a kid, I watched them over and over again.
You watched that video cassette to the ground to the point where I was sick of the Venom saga for a while.
Yeah, that and the Spider Slayers.
Yeah.
But then I got all the other box sets, and I watched all of them into the ground. I think one of them is so used, we had to throw it out. Sadly, I think it's Mutant Agenda, and that's one of my favorite arcs.
that was one of them that I absolutely loved. I mean, sure,
I love that Hank McCoy finally has a role, because in the X-Men series he doesn't.
it's like, sure, I was partially partial with the X-Men.
But Hank McCoy has a role. He doesn't have a role in the X-Men cartoon.
Spider-Man pimp slaps Logan.
Yeah, that's awesome. But anyways, and that's well deserved. That should happen every encounter between the two, because Spider-Man's so far above his level. It's like Superman versus the Question. It's that kind of power disparity. There's no way Question could ever challenge Superman or Wolverine Spider-Man. Then again, I'm of the opinion Iron Man should never have been able to challenge it. Been challenged by Captain America.
Oh, of course not.
But at the same time, in the Civil War comics, he was never fighting back. But anyways, we're getting off topic again. Enough of crappy comics. Let's get to good depictions. Now, last time we forgot to rate the Craven episode, but I would rate that maybe a 1.3. I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was just, yeah.
It's enjoyable, but more in a way that as the season of Spider-Man goes, it's set up for the entirety of the series.
Yep. So, what would you rate the Craven episode?
1.5.
1.3, you mean?
One.
Because, remember, it caps at 4, then it turns into a 2.
Okay.
No trying to pull a fast one on me. I'm on to you.
I said 1.5 star.
You said, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, whoops. Yeah, see how tired I am? Anyways, now Venom, the first episode of Venom. I have to rank this, okay. I typically would rank them all 3, like, together. Like, I think there are 3 episodes, 3 or 4. And I would put them together. But since we have to rate them individually, I'm going to award this episode, this first Venom episode, probably either a 3.3 or a 4. We'll say a 4! Because it's a perfect episode.
2.5.
Did you hit your head while you were out?
No. My reasoning is that, yeah, the best is yet to come. Yes, it's an enjoyable episode. Yes, there's nothing to improve. But it's like, watch it. But
2.5? What's the matter with you? This is not an episode that's below 3.5. And you're putting it at 2.5. Why?
I enjoyed it. Okay, a 3. That's my final offer.
I still think you're not giving this episode its due. This episode, yeah, Jet's with me. Oh my gosh. Okay.
No, Jet was with me.
No, he's on my side.
He's on my side.
Whatever. Next week we've got the last of the saga, I think.
I think there are 2 more episodes.
Yep. And we're gonna deal with that next week on Champion Review. So if you like this one, fasten on your Venom symbiote, like, subscribe, comment, and smash that notification bell.